Okay, so today it's the lecture number 5 for machine design, and today we are talking about the winding a little bit over here. And today I am actually moving on towards this book, Design of Transformers, and technically the chapter is chapter number 4 and chapter number 3 actually. Uh, so in chapter number 4, nothing much standard which has been up till talked about, and chapter number 5 we actually move on towards 100 kVA transformer design. Now 100 kVA transformer design is something which is a distribution type transformer, and a distribution type transformer, as we all know, is actually made standard based on the 11 kV slash the 400 volts over there. And certainly we already know that this is delta and the other one is star connected or Y connected over there. Now in this book, I don't know how many of you have this book. I will share the tables as I have scanned these tables over here. I will just load them in this app also over here, so you can actually go on with me what I'm doing over here. But before I move on towards the total winding design and I try to fill out these tables over here in front of you, very important thing which is over here, that if you are designing a core type transformer supposingly, and since distribution type transformers are mainly core type over here, so if this is the core type, I'm talking about single phase, you can extend that to the 3-phase also. So when you are going to have a 3-phase transformer or a winding over there, since I have told you previously also that the low voltage winding is going to be done first, and the very foremost reason is actually that the low voltage winding has the less insulation required with the core over there, so this is actually the low voltage winding. And since we all know low voltage winding, certainly, so this means that on the low voltage winding, number of turns are also small, and but the cross sectional area of that conductor is very large. So overall, this low voltage winding which is going to be done, it's not just going to be one single conductor. For example, let me just take one value over there. If I am designing a 100 kVA transformer, okay, and on the secondary side, which we don't normally use the word secondary, or actually the low voltage side, if we are talking about a low voltage side and we want to find out the current which is actually over here flowing inside the secondary side. Now since this is Y connected, and for Y connected we already know that the line current and the phase current, they both are same, there is no difference. So when we are trying to find out the line current or the phase current, they are actually the same thing. So when we put in this formula over here, this is actually going to be 100 kVA divided by, this is going to be under root 3 into, this will be the voltage which is actually over here. So when you are going to calculate this one, please use a calculator. Jara mujhe batao iska answer. Please, from now on, calculators are a must for everyone, because I am going to fill tables over here, the winding tables and all that stuff. It's actually a little different from here, because here they are not using 400 volts, they have actually 433. So it's a little different over here. 140 point double 3, but 3 get double 8 some pairs. So this is your current which is flowing on the secondary side. Now this current is very huge. Now when this current is very huge over here, this current is not going to flow in just one conductor. You are actually going to have many conductors in parallel. Now listen this talk very importantly, because here we are going to talk about many different concepts which are used in the low voltage winding. Now since this current is very large, and if you have a current density, supposingly, I'm just taking an assumed value, if you are supposing a value of delta, which is actually the current density, is equal to 2.5 amperes per mm square, the current or the cross sectional area of the low voltage side, that comes out to be 144.33 divided by 2.5. Please give me the answer. Please, at least 2-3 persons, everyone don't want to lose time over here on 57.73. So this is mm square, because I had this one as mm over here, mm square. So now the area. Now this area is very large. Okay? Now technically we all know, or up till now, up till your final year, you have been told that the wires are actually round in shape, or the copper which is actually available in wires, any wires, is actually round in shape. But practically, when you are talking about an area that is actually this much large, that is 57.73 mm square, then this means that you are going to have many conductors in parallel. Now there are two choices available to you. One choice is this: I use round conductors like this supposingly, and they are arranged like this. Supposingly these are 6 conductors arranged. Now these 6 conductors are going to be cumulatively making that 57 or maybe 58 or whatever that required area is required over there. Now if you see over here, there are ample spaces of area which is having air gaps. These air gaps are very bad for numerous reasons, because there is a leakage flux flowing over there. Secondly, if you see this and compare this one, supposingly I have a conductor which is approximately of this much shape. Now here the air gaps are very small. I have deliberately made them a little spacey so that you can actually see those 4 conductors, but practically there may be no space over there. Now this one is better over this one. First reason, there is a leakage flux more in the round conductor shape, so it is not having a good leakage flux over here. This one is much better for that. Second reason over here, which is very much important, when you are arranging a circular conductor in parallel, many of them, it's very difficult to make them in some form or shape. So the form factor is much easier if you are comparing a square shaped conductor or a rectangular shaped conductor over here. Thirdly, which is very important one over here, you are having a much larger area of 57.73 mm square. And since these currents which is going to flow inside this winding is going to be going towards your fans, maybe your laptop chargers, mobile chargers or whatever, they are going to be rich in harmonics. You don't know 100 kVA transformer is going to be loaded with what type of. Rarely it is a first fundamental, it's always going to be third harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic and so on. So what will happen over there? There is going to be skin effect also taking place inside your conductor. And you already are familiar with the skin effect over here. Skin effect makes the current flow on the outer skirt of your conductor, which means that if I am talking about these round conductors over here, current is going to just flow on the outer edges of this one over here, that is actually this dotted region over here. It's going to be hollow from over here. So what you are going to make over here, technically, if you are going to have the 6 round conductors combined together with no insulation in between them, listen to this very carefully. If you are going to combine together these 6 conductors with no insulation in between them, and by insulation I mean that if you are going to have some paper covering over here on this one, if this is not used, so what will happen? Because of the skin effect, if this blue color paper covering or enamel covering is not used, then all of the current is going to be in the center, because it will take as a huge one conductor, and because of skin effect, all the current will be focused in the center of that conductor, wherever that center is there. So this paper covering of blue color which I have shown over here is very important, and this paper covering is certainly going to be of 0.1 mm being used over there. And depending upon the size of your conductor, this paper covering is going to be dual, which means that 2 times you are going to wrap that conductor over there, and in this book you will use the word a lot over there, that is called as DPC, which is called as dual paper covering. Or if it is TPC, this means this is going to be thrice paper covering. So 2 times you are going to round the conductor. Same thing when you are going to talk about this rectangular conductor, you are going to have the same DPC over here on each one of these. Now I am not making it 2 times, you can just assume it that the paper covering has been done 2 times on these conductors over here. So these 4 over here, they are going to be. Now when they are individual conductors, here this time the skin effect is not going to be playing a part. It will have the current flowing over here on each one of them as behaving as one conductor. But now the problem starts over here. When you have parallel 4, now here I have taken 4 conductors and they are actually making the low voltage winding conductor. Now when you are going to have 4 conductors and you are going to place this conductor, now let me assume and take this over here on the low voltage winding. Now supposingly, let me take that with another color over here, sorry, with the red one, okay. Now when you are placing this conductor over here, you place that conductor over here like this is the first conductor, and then you place the second conductor over here like this one, and then you place the third conductor over here and the fourth conductor over here like this one. Now these four conductors arranged in this way, they are going to go round and round around the yoke, which is circular. Now what happens over here? The conductors which are closer to the core, they will have less circumference to travel as compared to the conductors which are far away from the core. They are very thick conductors. They are not just like mm of 0.1 mm. They are very thick conductors. For example, this size may be like, supposingly this size may be equal to 9 and this size may be equal to 4.5 mm. So when you have this as 9 and 4.5 mm, so this means that you are actually very far away. So when these four conductors, when they are going to be moved around the core, these two conductors are going to have a little larger length and these two are going to have a little smaller length. So what will happen over here, since current has to be equally bifurcated in this four conductors, the one which has a larger one will have a resistance larger as compared to this one. And when you have four parallel wires with two wires having a larger resistance, two wires having a smaller resistance, current will always take the least resistance path. So what will happen, there will be unequal balancing on the four wires over here. Now this is a very problematic thing, because what is happening, near the core the resistance is small, so what is happening, more current. More current means more current density. More current density means it's going to heat up more. More heat up means that the core is also going to heat up more. And this is very problematic, because already to the core, it's very difficult to cool it down. So the ones which are very far away, they are already cooled down because oil is also touching them. They are already in contact with some other oil over there and they already have a low current. So this is a very big problem, that how you are going to have or manage this four conductors, or maybe six, or maybe whatever that may be. So how you are going to make each one of them resistance same. Now one very crude form is this, that okay, I make it somehow like this. Okay, I use a 9 cross 4.5 here, and here I deliberately use something 8 cross 4.5 here. I am deliberately trying to reduce that resistance. Now this is not good, because skin effect may be not every time present. It's dependent upon the load. So it's not good way that you are actually changing or having different conductors being used just to balance the resistance for all equal paths. The one easiest way, but the most technical way, is this, that you are going to transpose the conductors when they are going to be forming the whole low voltage conductor over there. By transposition means that if supposingly I have a whole set of windings, let me just make another one. So if you have a winding, supposingly I had this 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this was 4 conductors over there, and these 4 conductors were actually making the low voltage winding. So what I am going to do, after maybe they were like supposingly 60 turns, just for example, there were 60 turns in the low voltage winding. So over here up till this point this is 15, here up till this point this is 30, here up till this point there are 45 turns, and here up till this point there are 60 turns. Now the first conductor is at this position, second conductor here, third here, fourth here. After every 15 conductors, or 1/4 of that conductor, you are going to change the shape or the position of your over here. So after every 15 conductors, now this is just an example over here. This 15 can be very small as well, it can be large as well. I've just taken an example that there are 60 turns in the whole length of the winding, and in that whole length you have to have the conductor number 1 and conductor number 2 take the topmost position, and then afterwards conductor number 3 and conductor number 4 can take it. So afterwards this one, maybe you are going to take this one here, and maybe like here, and then you take it here, and like this one, and after this one maybe like you have to take this above one, and just the supposingly this one is here and here. So in this way, this is called as transposition of conductors. Now what is happening over here, that you are actually trying to keep the same length of conductors of all these 4 conductors. Now when these conductors are arranged around the core, they are dependent upon is the, over here if I just zoom in again over here on this part, if you see over here, they are arranged as 2 cross 2. But 2 cross 2 is not just a figure. You can't understand that how you are actually going to arrange it. So when you are going to talk about 2 cross 2, you are going to use the word 2W into 2D. Now what this means actually? Depth means, D means depth, W means width. Now this is the first conductor over here. This is width-wise going down. So this is what was? This was the window height. So you can take the window height in the direction. This is actually the width over here. So this is the 2W is this one, and 2 depth means, so this is actually the depth over here. So there are 2 conductors in the depth direction. So this is one disposition. This is one way of having the conductor. So whenever a low voltage winding is going to be designed, you have to tell that how your conductors are arranged. Now it can't just be just 2 cross 2. It can be 1 cross 4 also. Now 1 cross 4 means, let me just make another winding over here just for example. So what will be 1 cross 4 if I want to make on this one supposingly? So this will be first conductor, this will be second conductor, this will be third, and this will be fourth. Now this is not 1 cross 4, this is 4 cross 1. Okay? Because in the width wise you are going W, and in the depth wise there is only 1. But if you want to make it a 1 cross 4, then I'm just trying to make a small distance so that you can actually understand that these are actually third one. And now handling 1 cross 4 mechanically it's difficult. You can understand this very easily. So, and these conductors, they are not always square shape. They can be rectangle shape, and rectangle shape are relatively easy to handle over here. Why? Because if you see, I have a rectangular conductor like this one. This is the first conductor, then I have the second conductor like this, then I have the third conductor, and then I have the fourth conductor. So you see the flat side or the larger length side is with the core. In this way it is mechanically more robust, mechanically more stable as compared to this one. Okay. So whenever a low voltage winding conductor is designed, it is designed over here either using the square shape or rectangle shape conductor, or it is used by the round shape. Now one point, since you know the area was 57.73 mm square. Now when you are talking about 57.73 mm square, you need to find out first thing, we know the area of the conductor A is equal to pi d square by 4. We already know this formula. This is for the conductor area which I am talking about. Just plug in 57.73 here and give me the value of D. What is the D value? So D over here would be equal to 4 into AC divided by pi, and then there is under root. Just plug in 57.73 mm square and divided by pi, and then you have the D. What is D over here? Point question 1. 8.57 mm. Okay, this distance is 8.57, approximately equal to 8.5 mm. Now 8.5 mm is a very thick conductor. So technically I am not going to use an 8.5 mm conductor over here, and whenever the diameter of my circular conductor increases beyond 3.5 mm, okay? Whenever the diameter of your circular conductor, when you put this in this equation and you find out that your D actually is now more than 3.5, then you will move on towards the rectangular conductors over here, because they are easy to handle and the air gap is also not there. So whenever you are talking about the area, and that area, since this is still a 100 kVA transformer, so on that 100 kVA transformer you are having a diameter which is coming out is approximately equal to 8.57, and this is certainly double than the required value of 3.5, because 3.5 mm conductor is a little easy to handle. You can actually make it turn. But if you have an 8.5 mm conductor, it's difficult, plus the skin effect is also there. So it's easy to use simple set of conductors. Over here these are arranged in 2W cross 2D over here. You can arrange it into 1W cross 4D or 4W into 1, it's totally up to you. But how you do this disposition is going to tell you that how many lengths of your window height you are requiring. Listen to this very carefully. Now the next thing, since over here I told you in the last lecture that this window height was dependent upon two things. First of all, the low voltage winding, can it cover inside this height and in one layer or two layers? That's totally dependent upon your design. Then the high voltage winding, which is going to be having a larger current, a larger number of turns and less current, and certainly it will be thin wire. So it can have inside the whole length of over here. So the height of the winding is going to be decided by the windings which you are going to do. If you remember the previous book we did last time, an example also, there we fixed that window height because the tank was available according to that size. This time I am talking about this book over here. I am taking from chapter number 4 and 5, and in this book they are first of all designing the winding, see what the length they cover, and then based on that length they are actually going to go towards the tank design and all that stuff over there. Okay? Now when you are trying to talk about the height of that window or the window height over there, your two things are there: low voltage winding and high voltage winding. You have to see how much length they cover. Now we already know that a high voltage winding, since it's going to have a lesser current, it's going to have more turns because this is 11 kV, 11,000 volts. So the number of turns are certainly going to be larger. Now when the number of turns are larger, in that case you are going to have more number of turns, and technically this is easy that they are actually going to take the larger length over here. And since low voltage winding is going to be done first, low voltage winding should be designed in such a way that the high voltage winding is equal to its length and there are no vacant spaces in between it. Now whenever we are designing an 11 kV transformer, I don't know, you have done the lab in your high voltage lab over there, the experiments किए last semester में, power कौन सा कोर्स है आपका, power system analysis, वहाँ experiments किए तो spring insulator या कोई इस तरह, वहाँ जाके कुछ भी किए अभी तक? Okay. अच्छा, one thing very important actually I want to ask you, because now in that lab we have a testing facility also. Now what that testing facility does, listen to this very carefully. Whenever a 11 kV / 400 volt transformer comes over there for testing, according to international standard, the 400 volt winding should be able to withstand a spike of approximately 600 volts, and this is a switching spike. Now whenever I am talking about a switching spike, this is the same spike. Supposedly if you on this piano buttons or switch buttons over there, and instantly you just on it, you see a little spark taking place over there. That spark will be there whenever the current is very large, firstly, and secondly, whenever there is going to be, you are turning on the button exactly at a time when LDI by dt effect is largest. Now for example, these projectors, they are highly inductive loads. Why highly inductive? Because they are working at DC supply. So when they are working at DC supply, those DC supplies have a big capacitor inside it, and whenever you are going to turn it on, it's going to take a huge current to charge those capacitors. Okay? So when those charging of the capacitors take a huge amount of current, a spiky current over there, that spiky current is going to change very fastly, and it is passing through the inductance of your transformer or whatever the coil over there. It's going to have a very large voltage spike. That voltage spike is going to be detrimental. Now supposedly this is an 11 kV transformer just outside your home. It is just having 100 kVA size over there, and incidentally the light comes, and incidentally the all 20 houses which are connected, they turn on their air conditioners. Now nowadays air conditioners, they are inverter based, they are going to take the current relatively like this, but previously the ACs were going to take dramatically again 8 amperes or 9 amperes of current in the starting, or maybe even larger than that. So what will happen, the 400 volt winding that is on the transformer, it is going to be subjected to high switching impulses. Now when I am using the word impulses, so then I am actually talking about a curve which is something like this. It's a curve like this. Okay? It's not the same impulse which you have done in your Siemann systems and the probability. The name is the same, but actually we are talking about this impulse has to take approximately, if I'm talking about 11 kV line now. Now 11 kV lines which are working on our system, supposedly let's go, how they work on. Supposedly at the grid station उन्हें जी लोड सेटिंग करनी है, उन्होंने एक लाइन पूरी रेडियल फीडर बंद कर दिया, लोड शेडिंग हुई है, घंटा मुकम्मल हुआ है, नाउ दे हैव टू टर्न इट ऑन. जैसे ही वो उसको टर्न ऑन करेंगे, उस लाइन के ऊपर 10 या 20 ट्रांसफार्मर लगे होंगे, वो सारे के सारे एट वंस ऑन होंगे. And on the secondary side there is a load connected also which is going to turn on, and since transformer is also having an inductance, it will take a huge amount of current, and the time of the switching, it is something like this, that LDI by dt becomes very large. An 11 kV transformer can experience a 65 kV peak impulse also. This is switching, but in some cases there can be a lightning strike also. A lightning strike is probability is very small that it can strike an 11 kV transformer, but certainly it can strike the transmission line, and from the transmission line it can travel towards this transformer. So for the transmission line, this standard is 95 kV, and this 95 kV is designed in such a way that the rise time is approximately 1.2 microseconds, and the fall time up till the 50% of the value. This is 50% of the value. So from this point to this point, this is 50 microseconds. So an impulse of 1.2, we always characterize it as 1.2 microseconds / 50 microseconds. A 95 kV impulse, when it is given to a winding, we test it in the high voltage lab by giving an impulse of 95 kV peak. And if it withstands, which means if the shape of that waveform remains, this means that the winding has actually ability to withstand that impulse. We have an oscilloscope over there, it actually measures that impulse over there. And somehow if the winding is not good, the insulation cannot sustain it, then what happens? The waveform it tries to go towards the peak, and then afterwards it goes back. It will never reach the peak. किसी बीच पॉइंट के ऊपर इंसुलेशन वीक है, there is some air gap, there is some insulation problem, the asbestos is not good, the PVC material is not good, so the insulation will not withstand it. So अक्सर वहाँ transformers, when the private manufacturers, they come on and there is a requirement from their consumer, or maybe that party is Wabda or whatever, or Lesco, they ask it कि जी आप अपने पूरे batch of that transformer में से ये टेस्ट इस ट्रांसफार्मर पे जरूर करना. So an 11 kV transformer is given a 95 kV impulse. Now, we are designers of transformers. How a transformer can withstand 95 kV if you are designing it at 11 kV? This is the biggest question here. Now, if you want to have, now this time is very small, which is 1.2 microsecond or it can be 1.5 in some standards also. So this time is very small. The only way of actually able to make the winding withstand a 95 kV impulse is this, that the winding has a very large capacitance, which is the input capacitance. Insulator, please, एक छोटी सी बात है, this is the high voltage engineering, not core, but still, since I have taught that course also, high voltage engineering is all about insulator behaving as a capacitor. कोई भी insulator है, if it is a good insulator, it will have a very good capacitor, because इसका मतलब it can withstand that voltage. So a transformer winding, since high voltage winding, if it is 11 kV design, you can somehow increase the input capacitance of that transformer. Then that winding can actually, because that capacitor is going to be at the front of the winding and it's going to charge that capacitor, and the whole voltage is not going to be applied to the winding. So as designers, your main purpose is to increase the input capacitance over there, or actually the winding capacitance over there. Now whenever I am drawing a transformer, supposingly, जब भी मैं यहाँ पे ट्रांसफार्मर एक बनाता हूँ, let me, I have a transformer over here, and on this transformer, supposingly, I have this winding done like this. Now there is a capacitance which, since you are now going on towards your final year, and maybe some of you will be going on towards your graduation also, there is a capacitance between the turns of also. Turns have some voltage difference in between them, because supposingly you are applying an 11 kV voltage over here, and over here this inter-turn capacitance was also there. So this capacitance is going to be included where? Now listen this very carefully. We had, if I'm drawing the equivalent circuit of a transformer, this was the equivalent circuit and this one was the winding, primary winding, and then there was the core. And then this was the ideal transformer over here, and certainly you can draw the secondary. I'm not concerned with the secondary. Now this is RP and this is JXP. Now the inter-turn capacitance is going to be either parallel to this RP and JXP, or we don't want this series capacitance. Series capacitance is not good because it's going to include a lot amount of high frequency. It's going to have a short circuit current path. Okay? Because XC is equal to 1 over 2 pi FC. So जितनी high frequency current होगे वो इस capacitance के through flow कर जाएंगे. We don't want it. We want actually, for as good designers, this capacitance. And how we are going to make this capacitance, that when we are actually designing a winding over here, supposingly I am designing that winding over here on this limb, let me just make a winding. This time I am not going to design the winding in one go. Supposingly I will design one packet like here, then another packet over here like this, and then another packet over here like this. So what I have done, I have bifurcated the whole winding in 3 different packets at some distances. Now this is going to give me some capacitance over there, a little bit capacitance increase over there. So when I am going to connect this one with this one over here, this 3 are actually 3 coils of the high voltage winding, and they will have some capacitance in between them. So you are practically having a little bit capacitance more increase. And secondly, very important thing, if there is a discharge and your winding has gone faulty, आपका ट्रांसफार्मर नहीं withstand कर सका 95 kV impulse को, what will happen? The winding will be damaged. Which portion of the winding will be damaged? Certainly the topmost one. So it is because it's the first one. यहीं पे आपको सबसे पहले impulse आई है. So it's easy to actually repair it all. So bifurcating the whole winding of high voltage into different coils. These are coils. This is going to be called as the first coil, second coil, third coil. Length rather, बिल्कुल. That's why I'm actually doing it, because this is going to increase the overall. But this is the outer winding. ये अगर अंदर होती तो फिर लो वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग में ऊपर आना था तो फिर मुश्किल हो जाती, क्योंकि एयर गैप से. लेकिन लो वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग पहले हो चुकी है, उसके ऊपर हाई वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग होगी. ये एयर गैप इतना प्रॉब्लमेटिक नहीं है, क्योंकि वी वांट द फ्लक्स टू फ्लो फ्रॉम द हाई वोल्टेज वाइंडिंग टुवर्ड द लो वोल्टेज. लेकिन एयर गैप अगर आ रहा है तो दैट इज आल्सो फॉर ओन गुड, बिकॉज यू आर ट्राइंग टू इंक्रीज द कैपेसिटेंस, द इंसुलेशन स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ योर वाइंडिंग. ठीक है. नाउ इन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ट्रांसफार्मर दिस प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट दैट सिवियर. ठीक है. So we can just have, like, supposedly whatever number of turns you take out, you bifurcate into 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different coils. Now you are already aware that there are taps on a transformer, and those taps are always provided on the high voltage side. तो बताएगा क्यों? The current is small and it's easy to actually have a tap changer over there if it is an online tap changer. ठीक है. An online tap changer, on load tap changer, is called as OLTC, on load tap changer. And if it is off load tap changer, then it is a simple tap changer over there. Normally a distribution transformer, you don't have an online tap changer. Why? आपने कभी भी tap change करनी है, the lineman will actually take it off and then change the taps over there and go on the transformer over there and then change it. But if a transformer is at a grid station, and that grid station transformer, you want to regulate the voltage. Supposingly आपका grid station जो है तो शालीमार बाग के पास है और UT तक आते आते the voltage is decreasing down because this is the end point of that feeder. So they will increase the tap over there so that you can have a larger voltage. Yes, just close to Shalimar there will be high voltage. That's why radial feeders are not good. We always want to have a ring feeder or whatever. I hope you have gone through this feeder configurations before. So whenever you are talking about taps, they are always provided on the high voltage side, and those high voltage side you are going to have taps, and those taps are going to be in the center of the winding. This is very important. मिसाल के तौर पर आपके पास ये 3 कॉइल्स थी, आपने 2 टैप्स निकालने थे. One tap was supposedly plus 2.5%, other tap was supposedly 5%, 2.5 and 5. What does 2.5 and 5 mean? 2.5 and 5 means that 2.5% of turns are more, 5% turns are more. So अगर आपके पास supposedly there were 100 turns in your HT, जो कि होंगे नहीं, पैर बहुत ज़्यादा होंगे, इससे 700-800 भी हो सकते हैं. So when you have 100 turns, you will have actually 105 turns in practical. लेकिन आपने जो taps निकालने हैं, those taps will be in the center. Why? Because we don't want a winding to be coming out near the yoke of the core. So taps are always provided in the center coil. Okay? So distribution transformer can have taps, and those taps can be plus minus, this is 0, then there is plus minus 2.5%, and there is this plus minus 5%. So they are provided on the high voltage side over there, and the high voltage winding is bifurcated into different coils so that you can actually have them for the insulation strength increase of your winding. Gee, any questions with this? This is actually just the basis of what I am going to do in the next 10-15 minutes, whatever I have now left over there. Gee, any questions, please? Okay. Okay, this is a little difficult over here. I will try. Actually, I have these pictures over here, and I'm trying to. These are fill tables. Of course. Anyway, I will just go on with this one over here. Don't worry. तब हम कोई next lecture में कोई आसान way ढूंढ लेंगे. For just now. Okay. Okay. First thing. Please write it down. ये calculation आप करोगे इसलिए so write it down. मेरे पास अभी ये load नहीं हो रही इस पे. Next time हम इसको आगे continue कर लेंगे वहाँ से. This is a 100 kVA transformer. And the no load voltage ratio is the 11,000 volts / 433 volts, and it's a recording हो रही है. ये मैं picture दे दूँगा आपको. Don't worry. These are scanned pictures of this book. ये मैं upload कर दूँगा. Don't worry on that. So the frequency is 50 hertz. The phases are 3. The connection is delta star. What is DYN11? Remember this when the transformer design will be completing. We will discuss in much detail what is this actually meaning, because it can be DYN13 or whatever that distance may be. Just now in short form answer, DYN means that the high voltage winding is in delta, the low voltage winding it is in small y, so that's why it is in the small y. N means this is the neutral is grounded, and 11 means whenever you have on the clock dial you have 11 small needle and the large needle, the distance is approximately in degrees. That is actually the phase shift between the primary and the secondary winding. We'll discuss this in much detail. There is a whole topic on that one. Okay, next thing, winding material is aluminium. Aluminium is a good one because why? It's cheap, but it does not have a large current density. One thing very important, हम अक्सर ट्रांसफार्मर्स देने जाते हैं, ट्रांसफार्मर कहते हैं एल्यूमिनियम का सस्ता है, उससे आपको आधी कीमत में मिल जाएगा, but it cannot have a large current density. I have told you the current density for a normal transformer which is naturally cooled is 2.5 ampere per mm square. For this one you will see at the end that they have not taken more than 1.5 ampere per square millimeter. Then impedance is 4.5. This impedance is actually Z over here. So you are having a Z, percentage Z of 4.5. No load loss and the load loss. You can see the no load loss is 260 watts. So the hysteresis and eddy current losses, they are going to be 260 watts. You can't go more than this. And the load loss is 1760 watts. This is the maximum I square R losses. R over here is actually the R equivalent, having the primary and the secondary both. Temperature rise is 40/50. Slash over here means that the winding temperature versus the ambient temperature, or the winding temperature you can call it. When we will talk about tank design, then this item will be a little bit more discussed over there. So these are the specifications of the transformer. Then if I move on towards, now here, please calculate this. What is the voltage per phase? ये value, please do it on your copies. I am not going to do this one over here. मैं देख लेता हूँ कि देर में if I can try. But just for now, जी, please do it on your copies. Voltage per phase over here. Okay, so this is your transformer. Again, the data, the rating is 100 kVA. The value, the voltage are 11 kV slash 433 volts, and then I have the phase frequency and all that stuff. And the table which I asked you is this, that you have, G, what is the voltage per phase? G, primary coil is actually the high voltage coil, because we are trying to feed in power from the high voltage side. Actually primary and secondary coil, I have already told you, we don't normally use the word in the industry, but this is an Indian author, a quite old one, so maybe they are using the same words over there. So this is going to be 11 kV, or you can just write 11,000 volts over here. What is the primary current per phase? Primary current per phase is very easy over here. जी कैसे निकालेंगे? जी, you have a 100 kVA transformer. This is a 100 kVA transformer. So you are going to divide 100 kVA divided by, then you are trying to talk about the phase current. Okay? This is the phase current. So I am not going to have under root 3. I am going to have 3, and I am going to have 11. Give me the answer please on this one. 3.03. The current size, the density of the current is approximately 1.5 ampere per square millimeter. So what this means, what should be the conductor area? What should be the conductor area? Please, come on. This is 3.03 slash delta. Delta is 1.5, already given to you. 2.0 what? 02. So this is 2.02 square millimeter. Okay, just for now I am going with the same answer which I have in this book. But next time I will change this and try to do a little different design. The equivalent conductor diameter, pi d square by 4. Find out me. This is going to be the same 2.02. Plug this one, find out d. Give me the value of d over here. Calculate it. Please, calculators should be on your fingertip. 1.603. So this is mm. Now 1.6, I will share with you the conductor table also, which is standard. Okay? I don't have it at present with me, so we are going to always have standard conductor use. This is an HT winding. So the next standard conductor which you are going to use is 1.7 mm. ठीक है, 1.6 हम यूज नहीं कर सकते, हम 1.6 यूज करते हैं तो the current density will be violated. So I am going to go with the higher one, which is 1.7. So what is going to be the area of the proposed conductor? Plug in 1.7 in this formula, give me the area. 2.27 mm square. and based on this 2.27 mm square, what is the working current density? Now, for that one you are going to divide 3.03 divided by 2.27. Yes. 1.334 or whatever, 335, whatever you, it's totally up to you. So this is amperes per square mm or mm square, totally up to you which nomenclature you want. Okay, so this is your working current density. So your ask was 1.5, but you are working at 1.34. No issues on that one, because you can't actually find a conductor between 1.6 and 1.7. This is a round conductor, so because this is ST winding over here. Okay, now let me. We know ET is equal to K under root Q or S. I told you it can be interchangeably used by some authors. So here you can use the value of K. Now as per according to this book, they are telling me that the value of the K is something in the range of 0.3 to 2.35. Aluminium only. This is very important. For copper, it can be from 0.4 to 0.7 or that range. But for aluminium, because aluminium is not a very good conductor, it is malleable and ductile, but it's having a larger, not having a larger current density. So you have to choose something from 0.32 to 0.35. Okay. Now I'm not going to use the book value. Let me use another one. Let me go with the 0.35. The book one has used 0.33. Okay? I'm going to use another one, 0.35 over here. So what happens? ET becomes equal to 0.35 and the under root is going to be 100. Gee, what is going to be the value? This is going to be 3.5. So it will be 3.5 volts per turn. Gee, next thing, number of secondary turns. Gee, what is the secondary voltage? Secondary phase voltage. Yeah. 433 was the line to line. So here you are going to write 433 divided by under root 3, and here this will be 3.5. Gee, give me the answer. Now I don't have the answers. You are going to give me, because I have taken a different value. 71.42. Okay, now 71.42, you can't make it that number of turns. So here I am going to round it off to approximately 72 turns over here. Okay. Now when I have made it 72 turns, okay, so before I calculate the actual ET and all that stuff which we already done before in the previous classes, I want to calculate the number of primary turns at normal. By normal I mean at 0%, no taps involved. No taps involved. So this is the primary phase voltage. What is the primary phase voltage? We already know, that is 11,000. What is the secondary phase voltage? We already know it, that is 433 divided by under root 3 multiplied by 72. Please give me the answer. Again, 3168. Acha, don't need to write TURN, you can just write T also, that actually means turns over there. So the additional turns towards 5% tapping voltage, which means that you are going to add 5% more turns. So add 5% more turns in this 3168. Gee, what is the value? So this means you are actually trying to add 5 over 100 multiplied by 3168. Gee, what is the value? Again 60? नहीं पहले एडिशनल बताओ, एडिशनल कितने ऐड कर रहे हैं वो बताओ. 158.4, which means actually 159 turns. Now add this 159 and 3168. 33. I have made it 159.27. 3327. So this is 3327 turns over here. Now, so the number of coils per phase. Now this is totally design engineer, right, what we want to go with. This is a 100 kVA transformer. The book is going, or the author of the book is going with 4 coils over here. In the previous discussion we just did today, we talked about that there can be 3 coils. Now here he is going with 4 coils. The only reason of having 4 coils is this, so that in the center You can have a little larger distance so that it can have a little more withstand capability of the insulation. And the taps, there are two taps. Those two taps are going to come from the two center coils over there. So this is totally up to you. Are you want to make 4 coils, 5 coils, but avoid 2 coils over there. 2 coils are not going to give any withstand capability. So it can be 4, it can be 6, or whatever you want to use, or 5 one. So I am going to go with the 4 number of coils, just like the author of this book, Indrajit Das Gupta, has done. What will be the turns per coil? Divide 3327. Now one thing over here, one problem. When you are going to divide 3327 and you are going to divide it by 4, you are not going to get an even number. This is very important. So try to take that number of coils so that you can actually have a divisible over here. Now here, since do it. Or one thing where I can make this one 3328. Making it a even number. Now it's easy for me to divide it by 4. Okay? So you can take it, I am trying to make this one as 160 turns. हाँ हो लेकिन 3 नहीं आ सकता मैंने कहा 3 के अंदर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि 3 के अंदर you have a center one and then the 2 other one. Here the withstand capabilities, we want center coils to have a little larger distance so that they can have a withstand capability more. So avoid 3. ठीक है? You can have 4, you can have 5, you can have 6. In fact, जब हम power transformer की तरफ जाएंगे, when the power transformer will be discussed, you will see that these number of coils will increase to even 15. ठीक है? So this is totally again dependent upon the design. Now these things are on the design paper. This is very important. Listen, this course cannot be taught just on the paper. Okay? Practically when you go in the field, maybe some things have to be altered. हो सकता है आपने 4 कॉइल्स के साथ डिजाइन किया, ट्रांसफार्मर किया, चेक होने गया, नहीं विथस्टैंड कर सका. So you will have to change something. ठीक है? So not on the paper everything, because maybe the material is not good. Maybe the insulation material which you are using is not good. So there are numerous problems which can occur. So your design should be a little changeable over there. The number of coils क्या बनी? 3328 divided by 3328 divided by 4. जी क्या बना? 832 turns. This is the number of turns per coil over here. Okay. The winding design of the high voltage side. ठीक है जी. Sorry, not a high winding design of the high voltage side. This is the okay. Yes, the same thing. Actually, I'm just putting the data again. This is 11,000 volts. What is IP? 3.03 amperes. What is the wire size which I am using? This is just the tabulation of data. जो data हमने अभी तक कर लिया है. It's just the tabulation of that data over there. What was the wire size? 1.7. Diameter size. This was the diameter size, 1.7 mm square. You can write D over here or diameter, totally up to you. What was the area? 2.27 mm square. Please remember, units are very important. What is the current density? You can call it delta also. So this is CD or current density is totally up to you. See, what is the current density? 1.34 ampere per mm square. Okay, what are the number of turns which we have calculated up till now? नहीं 5% turns you called it as 160. Total turns per phase कितने थे? इस चीज को खैर neglected. Total turns per phase because this is just a repetition over there. जी, what are the total high voltage turns? 3328 turns. Coils per phase 4. This was 832. Now, since high voltage side is the longer side, it has large number of conductors, it has also large number of turns also, and we have bifurcated the whole winding into 4 coils over there. Now, instead of taking the window height from the low voltage winding, I am going to take over here in this example the height from the high voltage winding, design the height, and then try to fix that low voltage winding comes inside that window. This can be other way around as well. Okay? But here in this example, I am going to do it with the high voltage side. Now, see this table. There are 3 columns. The first one is a description, just telling you that how you are going to arrange that 1.7 mm conductor. The 2 are the length and the radius. By length I mean that the length is actually going downward on the limb. Radial means you are going outward from the core. For those who are still a little lagging behind it, if I draw the diagram is this. If supposedly this is the core. So the length is this one. This is length, and going out this is radial. So in this table over here, I am going to try to at the end, I am going to try to find out the radial length and the length over here of the window over here. So first thing first, what is the bare conductor? It's 1.7. Okay, so here on the length side this is 1.7. On the radial side it is also 1.7. Why? Because it's a circular conductor. If it was something rectangular or a square conductor, then it would be different. So here this is equal to 1.7. Now this 0.2 over here, as I have told you previously, the thickness of the paper is 0.1 mm. So this is 0.2 mm added over there on both of them. So the covered conductor is approximately 1.9 and 1.9 mm. Okay, I am not writing on the units, you can actually write it down yourself. In fact, let me down. बाद में आप लोग भी पेपर के बाद मुझे कहोगे सर आपने भी नहीं लिखे थे, हमने भी नहीं लिखे. So this is very important. So this is units over here. Now gap between two consecutive conductors. Because every time you are, it's a circular conductor. When you are going to place those one, there will be still a gap, air gap over there. Okay? So this is just a little bit gap added. You can see this is 0.05. This is just the air gap maybe, or maybe a little bit workmanship error, you can call it. So when this size comes, this comes out to be 1.95 mm on this side and 1.95 mm on this side. Now lengthwise, you are going to arrange them over here. Radial size, since you are going to have inter-turn layer insulation. Now what I mean by this, listen to this very carefully. If I go back on a diagram now, I am just making a limb of a transformer here. Okay? Now since we have decided that there are going to be 4 coils. Pehli coil, supposingly that is going to be here like this. The 4th coil here like this. Okay? Then other 2 coils here. Now by chance I am actually making them small, otherwise they will be same. Okay? These will be 4 coils. They are of the same width. Okay? By chance size मेरा ज़रा कम बना है, इस वजह से मैंने ये different बनाई. Now when this is the first coil over here, this is the 4th coil which I am talking about. And if I talk about this coil over here, in this coil, when you are going to arrange the conductor, this is first conductor, this is second conductor, this is third conductor, and then after these 3 conductors, you are going to put a layer of insulation. Because you are adding layers now. This is one packet or one coil, and in that packet how many turns are there? 832. Okay? Now 832, they have to be arranged in such a way that you are going to have in layers. अब ये जो red conductor है, इस red conductor पे पहले से ही एक covering है. Remember, पहले से ही 0.2 mm की dual paper covering है. लेकिन when you are going to increase in insulation, you are going to put another insulated layer because they are layers. And it is 11 kV. अगर ये low voltage होता है, no problem. This is 11 kV. Okay? So I have to put a layer of insulation. So this layer of insulation in each packet is going to be there. Now we still don't know कि हमने कितने conductors lengthwise arrange करने हैं, कितने conductors 832 में हमने radial wise arrange करने हैं. This is totally on you how you want to actually design your transformer. Here, if I go back on my table, let me just go back on my table. If you go back on my table, here you can see over there interlayer insulation is 0.1 mm. Now if I see over here in this point, this point is very important. Turns per layer. Turns per layer. This is totally up to you how many layers you want to do in one coil. हमें पता है कि एक coil के अंदर 832 turns है, but in that packet or coil, how many I want lengthwise, how many I want radial wise. Certainly it has to be a perfect rectangle or square. ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हम कह दी इधर हमने 3 रखी हैं और हमने अरेंज ऐसे करने हैं. One thing which is very important, if I am arranging them, supposingly I arranged it over here like this, and यहाँ पे आपके पास 3 आए, and then afterwards this was another insulation layer. You can't leave it like this. It has to be uniform. This space empty is not recommended. So whatever configuration you want to take, you have to take it into a full square or rectangle. Now, for the mechanical stability, it is better that it is having larger length and less radius, because then you are making it more compact. But increasing the length has a factor. When I am increasing the length, I am increasing the window height. And when I am increasing the window height, the overall size of the transformer is increasing, the core losses will increase, the amount of oil will increase, the amount of iron which I am going to use for the tank and all that stuff is going to increase. So this is totally design perspective how you are going to do over here, that how. Now if you see this fourth point over here, that is turns per layer. Now in the book what they have done, they know they are having some number of turns per coil. Okay? In our case this is 832. Now what they are doing over here, that over here, let me check it, this is 832 divided by some number, okay, over here, and that number will give you that how many turns per layer are going to be there. Now here in this case they have taken this number here equal to 17. I am taking the book value, but 17 is not divisible by 832, because 832 is not divisible by 17, opposite of this value. So give me a number that 832 is completely divisible by it. Can 16 divide it full? Please calculate on the calculator without any decimal fractions over. 16 can divide it. Okay. So here instead of having 17, I am having 16 over here. So what this means actually, that I have 16 conductors lengthwise arranged over here, 16 conductors lengthwise arranged, and how many will be radial wise? कितने? 52. So this means radial wise it will be 52 conductors. Now here in the length category over here, this was 1.95 mm, and I am going to multiply it by what value? G. देखो देखो एक सेकंड 16 का क्या मतलब है यहाँ पे? 16 लेंथ वाइज गए हैं. ओके सॉरी हाँ 16 सॉरी रेडियल वाइज उल्टा कर सॉरी 16 आर गोइंग इन द रेडियल डायरेक्शन. सो हियर दिस वैल्यू इज कमिंग आउट टू बी 52. So how much you are going to have this one lengthwise? 52 conductors. And on the radial front जी क्या होगा? अभी मैंने 1.95 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 52 मैंने भी नहीं किया, अभी मैंने सिर्फ मल्टीप्लाइड 52 लिखा है जी. ऑन द रेडियल साइड व्हाट विल हैपन? भाई रेडियल साइड में कितना इंक्रीज होगा? 16 कंडक्टर्स, 16 आर रेडियल वाइज, so this value is going to be multiplied by 16 here. For those who are still not lagging, please listen. What I am having for this is the core over here, and on this core I have arranged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on up till how many conductors? 52 conductors, and here on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up till 16 conductors. So this whole is actually going to be one packet. ठीक है? तो अगर मैं इसकी भी डिस्पोजिशन लिखूं जो कि नॉर्मली तौर पे इस बुक में नहीं लिखा हुआ, ईच पैकेट हैज अ डिस्पोजिशन ऑफ 52W मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 16B. ठीक है? दिस इज वन पैकेट. and this one packet is going to now make it. Now over here, this is 2G. ये मैंने ऐड नहीं किया, सॉरी, इधर 1.95 प्लस 0.1 जी, ये कितना होगा प्लीज? This will be 2.05 mm. So when you are going to multiply 2.05 by 16, gee, what is the answer? 2.05 multiplied by 16. ये radial width है 32.8 mm. And what about this one, जी? 1.95 into 52. 1.24. Okay. Axial length of the high voltage coil. जी, यहां पे हम किससे मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे? दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अच्छा, नाउ हियर अभी तक मैंने टोटल लेंथ नहीं निकाली, ये एक कॉइल की बात हो रही है. So the whole one coil length, just round it off equal to 102 mm. ये भी एक कॉइल की लेंथ निकाली है. This is just one coil length. This is just one coil length. अभी मैंने 3 कॉइल्स और इस तरह की लगानी है, उनके दरमियान में कितना फासला होना है वो भी अभी डिसाइड करना है. ठीक है. So this is one. What about this one? 32.8. ये ऐसे ही रहेगा या इसमें चेंज आएगा कुछ? ये कॉइल की विड्थ है, इसको कोई चेंज नहीं आना. रेडियल विड्थ ओवर देयर, सो यू कैन जस्ट टेक इट 32.8, और इफ यू वांट टू राउंड इट ऑफ यू कैन मेक इट इक्वल टू 33 mm. ठीक है. Any ambiguity up till this point? Please, just one. I don't have much time. It's already over. Total axial length of the 4 coils. हमने भी क्या लेंथ निकाली थी पीछे? 102. So this means I am going to have 102 multiplied by 4. Please do it. 408 mm. The gap between. Now these are insulation not standard. These are some practical standard. तो जिस किसी ने 100 kVA का ट्रांसफार्मर बनाया हुआ है, he knows कि okay, the topmost coil to the yoke, this much distance of 25 mm होना चाहिए, because the core is already neutral. So you are already always going to have a 50 mm gap. यानी कि the topmost 2 coils 50 mm top, 50 mm from the bottom, and then gap between 2 tap coils, that is 10 mm, and that distance over here will be equal to 1, and this will be equal to 10 mm over here, and gap between plain coils, this is equal to 2 cross 7 mm. Here this is taken as 7 mm, you can take it over there. Just add these 4s. ये 10, 25 and 7, these are just technical standards, you can take them anything that is required. Just add these 4, 408, 50 mm, 10 mm and 14 mm. 480, 82. 482. This is the total window height over here. Now low voltage winding will be designed in such a way that it should fix in this much length. Okay? You may have gone in the other way कि आपके पास पहले low voltage winding डिजाइन करते, उसके अंदर करते, and then high voltage को fix करते. But the disadvantage is this in this way is this: high voltage has larger number of turns. ठीक है, उसको अरेंज करना मुश्किल है. In low voltage winding the conductor is fixed, it is having more conductors, so you can arrange it by disposition of W cross B. ठीक है, लेकिन अगर वहां भी ना हो by somehow, then you will come back and again change the design of the HT. ठीक है, so this is HT design, and this type of winding we have just done today is called as packet winding, because you are having packets distributed in the whole length of the transformer or the window height. Any questions?